Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are doing amazing today. I just wanted to jump on here and share with you guys a reading that I did for February of 2022. So, initially, I wanted to do this reading for Instagram. I felt like I was just going to be like a tarot reading that I was going to post on Instagram with a little bit of like me typing out the reading and whatever. But before I kind of sat down to do the reading, anytime I do a reading, I like to kind of sit down and like close my eyes and kind of do some breathing and just to kind of like release and get rid of all of like unwanted thoughts, just to clear my mind, to clear my mind so that I don't start to overthink or doubt myself during the reading. I find that very helpful. So as I was doing that, I felt the energy of Gaia come in. If you don't know what Gaia is, it's a name for Mother Earth, the planet that we reside on. So I like the name Gaia, so I'm going to use that name. Her energy came in before the reading, and so to translate the energy that I felt when connecting with her, she kind of wanted to take over the reading. Well, not take over, but like she wanted to kind of guide the reading, which I was like, hell yeah. Like I've connected with Gaia during some readings before, and the energy is just so good. I love connecting with Gaia, and I was so super excited that she kind of popped in this one, and just kind of like she was just like, may I? And I was like, please. So this is going to be Gaia's message to humanity for February of 2022. So I did draw some cards. The cards that I drew were the Death card, and underneath those two cards, and underneath the Death card is the Magician in reverse and the Three of Cups. Okay, so that's what it looked like. This one was on top of these two here, and I did write the reading out on my laptop. It's a collective reading, so I feel like there was just so many aspects to the reading, so I just had to kind of get the gist out by writing it. And I feel like it makes more sense when disseminating information from these readings when I write it out, because if I were to just straight record it or record myself kind of translating the message, I feel like I'd be like constantly stuttering or trying to think of like certain words that I need to use to describe what I'm trying to say and what I'm feeling. So I wrote it down first, and I'm just going to kind of read it to you guys and elaborate on whatever I feel like I need to elaborate on. So let's do this. Okay, so this is Gaia's message to humanity for the month of February of 2022. Okay, so it says, as of late, or for some time now, you have been following this pattern or this cycle where you haven't been making decisions based on your own intuition. The Three of Cups card is here in its upright position. It's in its upright position, which has to do with good family, good friends. It's a very positive card, but the fact that it's in conjunction with the Magician card in its reverse position tells us that there is a connection between the two that interferes with your own individual capability to manifest what you want or to experience the life that you want to experience. So with that being said, you may be someone who is surrounded by good people. You may be someone who you purposely make sure that you are surrounded by good people. I feel like I'm definitely one of those people, because I can't be around people that drain me. I can't be around toxic people, because I physically and I mentally can't take it, because if it overwhelms me mentally, it will affect me physically, and that's just no good. It's no bueno. I can't handle that. So I'm definitely one of those people who I feel like I need to keep positive and good people around me so that I'm not drained constantly. And I think that has to do with my being an empath. So if you're someone who like gets drained when you're around like big crowds or certain like people who are constantly like negative or people like that, if you are someone who gets affected like by that greatly, you're probably an empath. But yeah, I have to set boundaries with certain people because it will affect me mentally and physically, and ain't nobody got time for that. So yeah, you may be, but to get back to the point, you may be someone who surrounds yourself with good people and you have good friends, and you just, because that's what the Three of Cups has to do with. The Three of Cups in its upright position has to do with, like, you know, friends, good family, and just having fun with the people that you surround yourself with and that you are surrounded by. But because this card is next to the Magician card in its reverse position, is telling us that something is interfering that has to do with the people around us. Something is interfering with our ability to manifest what we want, because the Magician card in its upright position has to do with, if this is the manifestation card, okay? In the tarot deck, you have the major arcana and the minor arcana, and this is the major arcana. This is a major arcana card, which has more to do with like an overall lesson you may need to learn, versus a minor arcana card, which has to do with kind of more of a specific type of issue that you may be having. So with the minor arcana cards, they all come in different suits, just like a regular playing deck of cards. And in the Magician card, it has all of the suits in the card. You know, it has the sword, the cup, the wand, and the pentacle. And that kind of represents that you have everything that you need. You have all of the elements of the minor arcana aspect in this one card. Excuse me, I need a burp. Sorry about that. But yeah, it represents having everything that you need to manifest the life you want to live, to manifest what you want, to be successful in whatever aspect of life you want, to get what you want. This is the manifestation card. This is the card that gets you what you want. And so the fact that we have the Three of Cups card in conjunction with the reversed Magician card, there is some kind of connection between the two. Let's read on. Let's see. Okay, so you know, you like I said, you may be someone who is surrounded by good people and good friends, people that you get along with, that you trust, admire, look up to, etc. Of course, which isn't a bad thing. But okay, so when you kind of surround yourself with all these people that you love and admire and are good people, it makes you a little bit more susceptible to adopting their ideologies, their beliefs, their advice, or whatever it may be. And that's not saying that you can't be inspired by these people, because, you know, being inspired by somebody's ideas or ideologies is one thing. You know, you could be someone who is interested in a certain subject, and someone else is also interested in that same subject, and, you know, what they're doing in that subject might inspire you to do something in that subject as well. But that's one thing. You know, being inspired by someone you love, admire, whatever it may be, is one thing. But taking somebody's ideas or adopting somebody's ideologies or belief systems or advice or career paths, you know, adopting those kinds of things without first checking in with yourself to see if you align with that, or to see, you know, just checking in with yourself to see if that's something that is for you to do with the path that you are on currently. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so let's go on here. So furthermore, your intuition and your heart wisdom, your intuition, which is, intuition wisdom, and your heart has wisdom too. So um your intuition and the wisdom regarding your heart is designated specifically for your path and for your journey. So although those around you may have good advice or good ideas or beliefs that seem to have solid foundations, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's for you to follow to a T. Okay, so let's see. So we do have the Death card that's at the top of this message here. This, connected message with the Three of Cups in reverse Magician card. The Death card came out on the top of that, okay? So the Death card has to do with endings. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to do with like literally someone dying, but in most cases, it has to do with ending something, necessary endings, things that need to end, a door closing to make room for new beginnings. So the fact that the death card here, it represents that we are being given the opportunity and choice to become aware of this cycle and to utilize that awareness to take responsibility for your actions and thoughts that could play a role in why you are experiencing the same unfortunate situations over and over again, to understand why you are confronted with roadblock after roadblock, and to ultimately end these cycles that get in the way of your goals and the way that you want to experience your life path. So, I feel like the message here, it's for February of 2022, but I feel like the message as a whole could be for the entire year. But I feel like the message for this month of February of 2022 has to do with like acknowledging this message, acknowledging the energy that is being, brought up to us by, our planet right now, is that for February, we're being given the opportunity and choice to become aware and to acknowledge if this is something that is affecting us in our life and affecting, our ability to move forward and evolve. So, yeah. Yeah, so that's what I feel like the death card is representing for the month of February, is that being given the opportunity to be aware of it and to acknowledge this for ourselves, because it really is a choice. We can either like think about this and acknowledge whether this is an issue in our life, whether this may be something that's an issue in our life, that this may be something that is blocking us from getting, becoming who we want to become, or achieving what we want to achieve, reaching certain goals, and ultimately living the life that we want to live and the life that we want to experience. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so take a deep breath. This is a lot. So a helpful tool regarding the premise of this reading is to use discernment. The definition of discernment isn't necessarily the ability to know right from wrong. Rather, it's what you believe is right for you versus what you believe is wrong for you, whether it's mentally, physically, or emotionally at any given time in your life. Okay, so it's discernment isn't like a concrete definition. It has to do with you, really. It's not just black and white. It's not, just your ability to know right from wrong. It's your ability to know what is right for you at this time versus what may be wrong for you at this time. Okay, and so we are being, we're being told that we need to discernment is very important for us at this time. Okay, and so in order for you to use discernment, you need to, for the most part, know who you are and what you stand for. Okay, you need to create your own value system and so you are able to use discernment to help you throughout life. Okay, so there are some questions here that you can ask yourself so that you may, begin the process of understanding who you are and knowing what your value system is, and knowing what you stand for. So here are some of those questions. Okay, so here we go. So some of these questions are: what's important to you? What do you want out of life? Do you want to live? Do you want to have a fun and joyful and exciting life? Or do you just want to survive? Do you have faith in humanity? Are you willing to give humanity the benefit of the doubt? What do you want the future of the world to look like for you and your children and your children's children? Obviously, if you don't have children or don't plan to have children, this is just a collective reading, so we don't have to get too literal. So another, more questions. What do you want to experience as a human being? Or what do you hope to experience as a human being that you haven't thus far? Do you care to ask yourself these questions? Do you believe it matters that you ask yourself these questions? Do you believe that what you put out into this world has an effect on the collective of the planet? Okay, so those are some questions to get you started. So when you ask yourself these questions and ponder them on your own, you have to ponder them on your own. I mean, I'm not saying you can't ponder them with a loved one or with like your partner or friends or whatever, but it is important for you to at least at some point ponder them solely by yourself on your own, so that you're able to kind of create a value system, if you haven't already, that is. Only when this will get you started if, like I said, if you're someone who hasn't asked yourself these questions or haven't kind of asked your own questions to know what your value system is. It's important to kind of know where you stand and what you stand for, so that you're able to use discernment. Because let's see. Yeah, I mean, we are bombarded constantly with different ideologies and narratives in our external life, that it's easy to kind of get lost in the mix of it all. And so, if you are someone who feels lost or confused or sad or unsure about your place or purpose in this world, or if you feel like you keep hitting dead ends in certain aspects of your life over and over and over again, it's important to, and it will be helpful to you if you are able to connect with yourself. Okay, you need to come back to if you're having any of those feelings, you are in need to connect with yourself. You need to come back to yourself. You also may, need to face something in yourself. You may need to forgive yourself, or you may even need to get to know yourself for the first time ever. And that's not a hard thing to have to do, or even want to think about, like, especially if you're over the age of maybe 30, if you are listening to this and you think like, I don't even want to think that I don't know who I am, because that would mean I would have to get to know what I thought I was for the past 30 years all over again. And I'm sure that doesn't sound fine, but we are being asked to do that. This is supposed to be helpful. It could help us the most right now during this time, if we're feeling any of these like unfortunate feelings, to connect to the self. Okay. And so, we all have our own personalized internal compass, uh, that, is specifically designated for us, for our path. And we just have to take the time and make the effort to connect to that and to recognize that it's there and that we all have our own internal leader. So, um, we're at a time in our lives where, we're going through a global pandemic, and there's just so much fear. Uh, you know, there's just so much fear in the air right now because of it, and because of all of the other things that are going on and have been going on. And so, what I feel like the energy of the planet is trying to tell us is that, hey, like, I see all the fear that's happening here. And her advice to us all is to go into here, to go into ourselves, to tap into ourselves, to tap into our own internal compass, so that we don't, so that if any kind of external information uh, is being confusing or like contradictive with with other things, we won't be fearful like we're lacking a leader, like we're lacking something to lead us. We'll have that own inner leader in ourselves. And when we do that, we will be less fearful. We will feel less like we're lacking a leader. And that could be scary. It could be, it will feel like we're standing on faulty foundation. But when we connect to ourselves and into our own internal compass and to our own internal leader, that fear won't be there. Okay. So, and when we're in fear and when we're scared all the time, we won't be able to think logically. We won't be able to think thoroughly or clear. So when we can kind of connect with ourselves and our own internal leader and compass, that fear won't be there, and we'll be able to think clear. We'll be able to think more logical. We'll be able to think more thoroughly, and with that, be able to figure things out. You know what I mean? We'll be able to get through this thing. And so, when we kind of connect with ourselves, we'll also be able to see, we'll be able to see the unknown, and we'll be able to see the unknown in a more positive light. We'll be able to see situations in where we can't control them. We'll we'll be able to see situations in where we can't control them in a more positive light. So things that we can't control, things that we don't know, that we can't see, will be less of a scary thing and more of an exciting thing, where where it's a place of endless possibilities. It's a place, the unknown is a place. Instead of seeing the unknown as a scary place, it will become a vast space of potential, of a vast space where seeds can be planted and new ideas can be grown. Okay, so that's what the message is for February of 2022. That's the message that I received. I hope that I translated it in a way that is understood well enough. But yeah, so that's what I got for you guys for February of 2022. Like I said, I feel like this is a message that is pertaining to the rest of the year, even maybe onto the next year. But for February, I feel like it gives us the opportunity to make the choice to acknowledge if this is something that if this is a factor in our ability to continue moving forward successfully. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this helped you in any way with any situation that you may be in. And I'll see you guys in my next whatever I decide to do. Okay, bye guys.